Welcome to GDPR training by Complico. To understand where we are going, we must first look back. Data privacy didn't start with the internet, it started with the realization that private life is a fundamental human right. 1950. The European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR. In the wake of World War II, Europe sought to protect individuals from state overreach. Article 8 established that everyone has the right to respect for his private and family life, his home, and his correspondence. 1970. The world's first data law as computers moved from science fiction to government offices, the German state of Hesse passed the first ever data protection law. Why? Because people realized that computers could store, search, and share personal secrets faster than any paper filing system ever could. The digital awakening. By the 80s, computers were no longer just for governments, they were entering the workplace. 1981. Convention 108. The Council of Europe created Convention 108, the first legally binding international treaty for data protection. It introduced concepts we still use today: fairness, lawfulness, and purpose limitation. 1995. The EU Data Protection Directive, 95/46, EC. The Internet was in its infancy. Think AOL and dial-up. The EU realized that if every country had different data rules, business would grind to a halt. They created the Data Protection Directive. Important note: this was a directive, not a regulation. This meant each EU country could flavor the law their own way. This created a patchwork of rules that became confusing as the internet exploded. The crisis of the data hoover. Then came the 2000s. The world changed. Facebook launched, 2004. The iPhone arrived, 2007, and big data became the new oil. The 1995 rules were like trying to regulate a Tesla with laws written for a horse and buggy. The result? High-profile breaches, like ChoicePoint in 2005, and the rise of invasive tracking showed that the old directive was no longer enough. Individuals had lost control. The birth of the GDPR. In January 2012, the European Commission decided it was time for a total overhaul. It took 4 years of intense negotiation, the most lobbied piece of legislation in EU history. April 2016. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, is officially adopted. The 2-year warning. Organizations were given until May 2018 to get their house in order. May 25, 2018, the GDPR goes live. Unlike the old directive, the GDPR is a regulation. It is one single law that applies exactly the same way in Paris, Berlin, and Dublin. Show the TBLE feature pre-GDPR post-GDPR philosophy. Data as business asset. Data belong to the individual. Fines often slaps on this wrist up to $20 million or 4% of global turnover. Consent passive pre-ticked boxes. Active clean and withdrawable reach mostly local extraterritorial applies. Why GDPR changed everything but handle EU data. Why was the 2018 launch such a big deal? Because it flipped the script on who owns data. Conclusion: our Complico. At Complico, we don't just see history as dates on a page. We see it as a movement toward trust. The history of data privacy is a story of moving from secrecy to transparency. As we move forward in this training, remember, we aren't just protecting data, we are protecting the people behind the data.